If a man in a cheap suit approached you on the street and asked for $10,000, you'd walk away without breaking stride. But what if that man was your neighbor? What if he played golf with your father? Or what if you'd watched him every morning on your phone for 3 years, watching him eat, work out, and hustle? Psychologists call it the halo effect. It's the cognitive bias where our overall impression of a person influences how we feel about their character. In 2008, the world met the ultimate trustworthy monster, Bernie Madoff. He stole $64 billion. He didn't do it with a gun, he did it with a smile and a seat at the head of the NASDAQ. Fast forward to 2026. Madoff is gone, but his ghost is everywhere. From the trading titans on TikTok to the DeFi visionaries on X, the game has changed, but the biology of the brain remains the same. Today, we are dissecting the anatomy of a con. We're comparing the country club psychology of Bernie Madoff to the algorithm psychology of modern-day gurus. Why do we trust the people who are destined to rob us? Let's look inside the mind of the trustworthy scammer. The Madoff method. The power of no. Bernie Madoff understood a psychological truth that most scammers miss: scarcity creates value. Madoff didn't beg people for money. In fact, he often turned them away. He cultivated an aura of such extreme exclusivity that people felt honored to be robbed by him. To get into Madoff's fund, you had to know someone. You had to be part of the in crowd. This is the in-group bias. If everyone in your social circle, your rabbi, your country club president, your charity board is invested with Bernie, your brain stops doing due diligence. You assume the collective has already checked him out. Madoff was the ultimate fiduciary father. He looked like a statesman. He spoke with the quiet confidence of a man who had nothing to prove. His scam wasn't built on get rich quick, it was built on stay rich safely. He promised 10% returns year after year, rain or shine. It was boring. And that was the genius. Boring feels safe. High energy feels like a scam. Madoff weaponized boring to bypass our survival instincts. The modern guru, the cult of accessibility. Now, pivot to 2026. The modern-day guru has flipped the Madoff script. While Madoff used exclusivity, the modern scammer uses intimacy. They don't want to be your distant, wealthy uncle. They want to be your best friend who made it. Through 24/7 Instagram stories and behind-the-scenes vlogs, they build what's called a parasocial relationship. You see them in their kitchen. You see them playing with their dog. You feel like you know them. And because you know them, you trust them. The modern guru doesn't promise boring 10% returns. They promise financial freedom. They use the psychology of status anxiety. They don't just sell an investment, they sell a version of you that isn't stuck in a cubicle. The dark triad. What connects these two eras? It's a specific psychological profile. Most high-level scammers exhibit the dark triad. They are experts at effective empathy. They can sense what you're feeling, but they lack cognitive empathy. They don't actually care. They use your fear, your greed, or your desire for belonging like a surgeon uses a scalpel. In a moment, we're going to look at the sunk cost fallacy, the reason why people kept defending Madoff even as the FBI was at the door, and why modern fans will defend a crypto scammer even after their wallet is drained. But first, if you want to understand the hidden forces shaping your world, hit subscribe. We're building a community of people who look past the halo effect. Join us. The weaponization of community. In the 1990s, Madoff used the Jewish community in New York and Florida, a tactic called affinity fraud. He exploited the shared trust of a specific group. In 2026, the community is digital. Whether it's a Discord server for a new AI coin or a private mastermind group, the modern guru creates an echo chamber. When someone asks a difficult question, like where is the yield coming from, they are immediately branded as FUD spreaders or poor. This is social identity theory. The scam becomes part of the victim's identity. If the guru is a fraud, then the victim's entire worldview and their new digital family is a lie. Most people would rather lose their money than lose their sense of belonging. The modern scammer isn't just taking your Bitcoin, they're taking your tribe. The red flags, then versers. Now. The red flags haven't changed, they've just changed clothes. Number 1. The lack of transparency. Madoff's trade reports were famously confidential and sent by mail. Modern gurus use proprietary algorithms or black box AI bots that you can't audit. Number 2. The one-man dependency. If the entire strategy relies on the genius of one person, whether it's Madoff's split-strike conversion or a guru's secret alpha, it's a cult, not a business. Number 3. Aggression toward criticism. Madoff would threaten to kick you out of the fund if you asked too many questions. The modern guru will block you, dox you, or have their army harass you. In both cases, the goal is to stop the brain from thinking critically. They want you in a state of emotional high arousal. For Madoff, that emotion was security. For the modern guru, it's adrenaline. The collapse, a tale of two endings. When Madoff's $64 billion house of cards fell, it was a slow, painful explosion. It took years of lawsuits. People lost their life savings, their homes, and in some tragic cases, their lives. Madoff died in prison, a pariah. But the modern guru has a different exit strategy. In 2026, we see the slow rug. They don't disappear overnight. They simply stop posting. Or they pivot to a new project. Or they blame the market or the regulators. Because the digital world moves so fast, they rely on our short-term memory. They know that by next month, there will be a new scandal, a new coin, and a new trustworthy scammer to distract us. Madoff wanted to be respected. The modern guru just wants to be liquid. The neurology of the yes moment. We like to think of ourselves as rational actors, logical beings who weigh risks and rewards. But the trustworthy scammer knows better. They aren't talking to your prefrontal cortex, they are talking to your amygdala. When a modern-day guru shows you a fleet of supercars or a high-rise view of Dubai, they aren't just showing off. If this deep dive into the scammer's mind helped you see the world a bit more clearly, do me a favor. Share this video. The best defense against a scammer isn't a regulation, it's an educated public. Check out our playlist on the history of the heist for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been hypnotized by a guru? What was the moment you realized Halo was fake? Stay skeptical. Stay sharp. I'll see you in the next one.